Yo guys, what is up? Moxsy here, back with another Borderlands 3 video, and today we have my much requested MALIWAN Takedown build for soloing it. Super excited to share this with you guys. I've been doing a lot of testing. I figured Slaughter Star 3000, its last round, 4 out of 5, or its 5th round would be the best representation of what the event is going to be like, because there's a lot of really big MALIWAN enemies here that all are armored. But there's also going to be non-armored enemies, shielded enemies, and flesh health enemies. This build takes into account everything that's going to be going on. I've been watching videos from the Borderlands show of the event, and I've been doing my research, and I think this is the build that is going to absolutely crush the DLC. Obviously, this is a harder video to make because I haven't done it yet, guys. So things are obviously subject to change, but this is the build that I'm going to be running into the DLC with, and I genuinely think we're going to absolutely crush it. I'm not worried. So let me explain the mechanic that we're going to be abusing in this build, because it's really important. So if you guys like the Shock and Awe build, which a lot of you do, the Shock and Awe build probably my most popular, favorited build. We have a lot of builds out. But I really see a lot of people enjoying the Shock and Awe build. If you like that build, this is similar, but we're exploiting new mechanics and doing new things here. So, with these Brainstormers, the anointment that we're going to be abusing for this event is the on-action skill, and the next 2 magazines will have 50% bonus whatever damage. So I've got a Brainstormer here with bonus corrosive damage, Brainstormer here with bonus incendiary, and a Crossroads here with bonus corrosive. Now, we were using these in my Shock and Awe vid, but we can abuse them so much more now with this combo. On action skill end, apply Terror yourself, and while terrified, gain ammo regeneration. I picked the Transformer Shield, guys, because the Transformer Shield is a very solid shield. It converts 100% of shock damage into shield. It has 40% chance to absorb bullets, adding them to your ammo count, which is both really nice. But MALIWAN enemies are almost always carrying elemental weapons. Going into a MALIWAN event, we're guaranteed to be getting hit by a decent amount of shock damage, and they're just going to be healing us with that. That's why I think the Transformer is going to be a top shield for this. Along with that, we have the recurring Hex. The Vindicator Ghost Call, I have one. It's a very awesome grenade, but this is going to be better. This is going to be better because it's a Cryo Hex. Cryo is good against armor, and it's going to apply terror to ourselves every 5 seconds. With this and the transformer, we're going to be regenning ammo. We're going to be regenning ammo and never reloading, which is super important because of how we're going to abuse this mechanic. So on all these weapons, on action skill N, the next 2 magazines will have 50% additional damage. We're never going to reload though. We will always have that bonus damage, which makes this build crazy. So I'll show you here. So on something like this Crossroads, when we have our terror stacks after we use our action skill, when we shoot, we're going to be regenning ammo, which allows us to keep our magazine basically full. We'll never have to stop shooting, and even if we spam this as much as possible, by the time we're able to reload, we'll have our action skill back. So we're going to be able to sustain that bonus damage all the time. Same with the Brainstormers. The Brainstormers shoot slower, and they have a lower magazine size, but we can still keep up that magazine size very easily. And once again, by the time you're going to need to reload 2 magazines, your action skill will be back. So that's how we're going to abuse that, and I think something like that is going to be very consistent damage across this event and be really nice for our boss killing, where we would be switching to another anointment. One thing that's super important and super helpful, that's going to be a big part of this DLC and a big part of my build, is a Flesh Melter Victory Rush. If you guys haven't seen this relic before, it is a corrosive damage boost relic that whenever we kill an enemy with corrosive damage, we're going to increase our damage with corrosive for a short duration. So, my Crossroads here is on action skill end. I'm going to get 50% additional bonus corrosive damage on top of a corrosive Crossroads doing already corrosive damage with Forceful Expression into corrosive damage, 18% bonus corrosive damage on top of that with a Flesh Melter Victory Rush like this that has bonus corrosive damage, and when we kill a badass, we're going to get more damage. For just this Flesh Melter part, if we kill 5 enemies in a row, which you guys saw we have no issue with, we're going to be doing 125% bonus damage with our corrosive weapon on top of all the other bonus damage. This is going to tear through enemies like no tomorrow. You can use the Crossroads for this. I like the Crossroads. The Hornet's going to work well. The Cutsman's going to work well. There's a lot of good weapons to choose from. I personally like the Crossroads for like mobbing, and I'll switch to the Cutsman for something like big boss or big DPS time when I need to do something like that. The other thing that we're going to be using besides Crossroads like this is Brainstormer, as I mentioned. Now, these enemies aren't just going to be corrosive, and there's going to be a lot of them. And there's going to be invisible enemies that we can't see. And there's going to be enemies moving really fast. Well, guess what doesn't care if you're invisible or if you're moving really fast? The Brainstormer. The Brainstormer's lightning tendrils will hit you through walls, behind cover, if you're invisible. It don't matter. And this Brainstormer is going to be doing bonus corrosive damage at all times with Forceful Expression into bonus corrosive damage. This is going to be a super easy way to spread corrosive damage to huge mobs of enemies. And in terms of speed clearing, we've already shown how good the Brainstormer is. So taking a Brainstormer into this event, I think, is going to be one of the top weapons, guys. It's going to be really, really good. In addition to how ridiculous the Brainstormer is, this is the class mod that I'm going to be rocking. This is a Primordial Phase Zerker with +5 into Anima, with 25% weapon damage, 31% shotgun damage, and 31% action school cooldown rate. That is ridiculous. And guys, I know that this gear is a lot, and there's a lot of things here, and I want you guys to be able to run the MALIWAN Takedown event with the best gear that you can have. And I genuinely wasn't going to do this, guys. I really wasn't. but on the Chernobyl video, you guys were so supportive, and like all your comments were so nice, and the feedback was incredible, and it made me so happy. And I wasn't going to do this, but I am going to be dropping the save file for this with all of these weapons, all of the weapons that I'm going to be taking into this MALIWAN takedown. The save file is going to be in my Discord posted. Anything you guys need will be in this save file for this event. So I hope you guys appreciate that. If you do appreciate it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. That's all I'm asking from you. Just give me a like, subscribe. Appreciate it a lot. So let's get into the actual build for this. So the build here may change up after I run it 100 times. It may never change. The real question is, how much actual damage are they going to be doing to us, and how much damage do we need to do to them? Because with Amara, it's a mix between survivability and damage. This build is high survivability, high damage. We got getting the best of both worlds. I decided not really to go into the blue tree for this because we don't need it. But if you want to run the OG shock and awe build, it'll do just fine. I don't know how much damage they're going to be dishing out, so I went with a survivability build with a lot of damage so that we don't ever have to worry about it. So this build, rocking once again 10 out of 5 to Anima. You guys saw me holding the sellout at the very beginning of this video. You don't need to use the sellout if you want to do the most damage and you're rocking a elemental projector. Absolutely use the sellout. I'll be using the sellout for my invincible kill of Wotan. I actually may be using a Nimbus build for that. We'll see, guys. I'll talk about that in a second. So we're going to be going 10 out of 5 in Anima. As you guys know, this is crazy. It's going to give all of our dots a lot more damage and duration. I went here with Wildfire, 2, and 3 with Steady Hands. That's because I want to be able to run around and hit tight shots on my Brainstormers and tight shots with the Crossroads. I want to be moving really fast, and I want to be hip firing almost all the time. So I went with Steady Hands and Wildfire here. Tempest is big, obvious. It's going to boost our shock damage, inner elemental damage. We're going to be doing a lot of shock damage with the Brainstormers. I didn't go Infusion here because I didn't want to worry about it, and we're going to be doing bonus damage with different elements on both of these guns and straight corrosive with this weapon. So I really don't think we need Infusion. I did damage testing with the anointments and Infusion, and there isn't any like special interaction happening with Infusion and the bonus anointments, so it isn't worth picking up in my opinion. Next, we're getting Dread for that gun damage, deep well magazine size. The bigger our magazine, guys, the more we'll be able to abuse our ammo regen, because if you guys didn't know, if you haven't seen my Metal Mayhem Amara build, ammo regen is based off of your magazine size. So if you want to never reload, have a bigger magazine because you'll get more ammo per second. We're going to be using Ties That Bind and Allure. Ricochet rounds are crazy with something like the Crossroads and the Brainstormers, which is why Indiscriminate is really nice. Sustainment is going to keep us alive. This is going to be our main healing weapon. Sustainment is the reason I prefer weapons like the Brainstormers, the Hornet, and the Crossroads, because they're all really high firing, high rate of fire, high damage weapons, and they're very reliable to keep us alive. Because with Sustainment, the only time you die is when you reload, right? Because you're not shooting. Well, we're not reloading, so we're good, you know? And then Forceful Expression just to top off all that damage. If you guys have watched my videos, you know this. Phase Zerker, do not use without 1 point into either Violent Tapestry or Do Harm. I put Do Harm here because we're using Ties That Bind scales with Do Harm. And you need Do Harm because it's going to give you Rush Stacks, and your Phase Zerker is going to scale off your damage with your Rush Stacks, so definitely put at least 1 point into either this or that. Next, we're going Personal Space. We're going to be running around really fast because of mindfulness getting in everyone's faces, and we can abuse personal space quite easily. Roots rise for that more health. The more health we have, the more we're able to heal. I don't know how much damage they're going to be doing, and so I wanted Helping Hands. It's going to give us damage reduction. We won't have to worry about anything, as well as elemental damage reduction with One with Nature. Guys, make sure if you're using One with Nature that you don't put damage reduction into... You're not using Shock as your action skill element, because you already have a Transformer, which gives you 100% resistance to Shock. So make sure you're either using Corrosive or Fire with something like this. This is, once again, going to give us even more damage reduction and max health. So with this, guys, we're covering elemental damage reduction to Corrosive, 100% to Shock, plus damage reduction with Helping Hands. We're going to be unkillable. It's just as simple as that. It's going to be really great. And then for the odd chance we do go down, we got Guardian Angel. Guys, this build is going to stomp through the MALIWAN Takedown. And I'll be live streaming it when we first do it. I'll be rocking this build. You guys are getting the game save for this. If you want to use it, go ahead. If you don't want to, you don't need to. This is, unfortunately, I believe you can only get game saves on PC. So this will be for you PC players. I think you can do a little trick with Xbox and PS4s with like downloading it to a USB and stuff. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. This build is going to absolutely crush it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And peace! Reason I'm picking a Transformer is because we have a chance to absorb bullets, and we're converting 100% of shock damage into shields. MALIWAN enemies... Oh, that's an Amber Alert. Oh, Jesus. Okay.